What if the strongest version of a man is not the one who has everything, but the one who no longer needs anything to prove who he is? We are taught a single story of success. Build this, chase that, keep up, marriage, status, applause, as if life only counts when it looks right from the outside. But what happens when a man chooses a different path? When he lives alone, not by accident, not while waiting, but by decision? If you have ever felt that quiet pull towards something simpler, truer, this conversation is for you. Choosing singleness is choosing responsibility. Staying single for life is different from what most people imagine. Some mornings, no one checks if you showed up. The alarm stops ringing and the room stays quiet. And that sounds like freedom until it isn't. Making money, cleaning up, cooking, even entertainment, it is always just you. And that can get tiring, even when you are trying to do things right. Married men often imagine singleness as paradise, but only if a man knows how to hold himself together. At first, everything feels lighter. I celebrated with friends, thinking I had just escaped something. But I soon realized the fight had not ended. It had just turned inward. I no longer fight anyone over the remote. I fight myself to turn it off. That is when the parts of yourself you ignored start asking for attention. Over time, the drive to show up weakens when no one is counting on you but yourself. Then it asks an important question. What will you do with it? When no one is watching, you either become your own witness or you begin bargaining with yourself. And if that has already happened, it does not mean you failed. It only means no one told you how heavy freedom can be without support. It is like forgetting to lock your front door. Nothing feels wrong at night until you wake up knowing whatever happens is on you. This is where many men misunderstand the choice. They think singleness removes pressure, but it transfers all responsibility back to the man himself. People don't talk about your options. They talk about whether you stayed sharp or not. At first, Daniel slept late, skipped days, and let himself slide. Years later, he became steady because the chaos had finally scared him straight. If this story feels familiar, you are not alone. Many men wake up inside this moment before they change. And slowly, life starts answering you back. If that line felt familiar, you already understand more than most men do. A quiet like here is enough. Discipline is what keeps the door open. Living alone does not break a man. It simply shows him where discipline matters. At first, days feel open and generous. The morning stretches, coffee stays warm longer, and the clock feels less demanding. It feels like a vacation. But that ease does not last very long. The cracks show up fast once discipline slips. Laundry piles up, things stop going back where they belong, shoes end up in different corners of the room. This is where many men get confused. They think structure limits them, but it actually protects momentum. That sounds strict until you feel the relief. It helps you show up feeling fresh and put together instead of looking drained and worn down. Because order does something most men forget to name. It rebuilds trust between you and you. Every small promise kept becomes a brick. This channel speaks to men who live this way. If you are one of them, staying connected makes sense. This is not about turning life into a scheduled prison. It is about deciding once so you do not debate all day. Groceries on Friday, mowing the lawn on Sunday, a short walk after dinner to clear the head. Energy shows up once direction is clear. You stop leaking attention into endless choices. Some days feel flat, that is normal. Discipline carries you through without drama. Epictetus, a Stoic philosopher who lived with almost nothing, said, "Life steadies when your actions follow your principles." You live long enough to see which principles actually hold. When your habits are set, life stops pulling you in 10 directions at once. And that is when a single man grows stronger, as Daniel quietly proved in the end. Not loud, not visible, but reliable. With structure in place, life feels easier to step into, but order only handles the outside. Sooner or later, a man meets what lives inside him. Learning to sit with yourself. One day, staying busy no longer saves you, and you have to face yourself. At first, it feels uncomfortable. It is like the buzzing of a mosquito suddenly becoming too loud to ignore. When you stop resisting, the tension slowly leaves your chest. You notice thoughts rising without armor. Old regrets, small fears, unfinished conversations. Like Michael, standing in the kitchen at night, holding his phone, knowing exactly what he should have said years ago. It cost him many sleepless nights. Then slowly he saw that holding the old story meant owing himself a better life. And when there is no one beside you, learning to care for yourself becomes part of the work. This is when clarity comes. He did it for a simple reason. Solitude makes it harder to lie to yourself. It turns silence into healthy reflection. When you learn this, you realize how many days were spent holding on to an old story, like keeping clothes that went out of style 20 years ago. Peace grows once you stop fighting what is already here. You begin responding instead of reacting. Even small moments feel calmer. You move forward lighter, clearer, and more at ease with who you are. Direction is built through daily choice. After you learn to sit with yourself, a new problem appears. Too many open doors. Offers start piling up. Projects, programs, different circles of friends, each one pulling you in its own pull. Each choice feels harmless on its own, but together they quietly wear you down. Not because any one thing is evil, but because your attention is not infinite. When you spend it everywhere, you end up living nowhere. Most men do not choose this. It happens slowly while they are trying to stay open, kind, and useful. You see it with Alex. Every time he goes out for coffee, a few new invitations follow, most of them from people he has never even met. Every day, you wake up with time, energy, and space. But without the right way, those things lose their shape quickly. Your calendar looks open, yet your phone is already full of half-answered messages. Many men confuse flexibility with progress. Comfort feels productive until time proves otherwise. You stay active, but nothing actually moves forward. It leaves you restless, sensing something is off. It means choosing what truly matters and letting the rest go. Some men choose the gym even when motivation fades. Others choose their craft, their work, their body, or their word. Marcus Aurelius wrote that a man must ask each morning what deserves his effort. Not everything does. Alex feels the truth of this when his week looks busy, yet nothing gets done. Once he chooses to stay home and finish his books, life starts to feel steady again. Clear priorities make your life easier. Even ordinary days feel purposeful. Stability changes the way confidence feels. You stop explaining your path. You start walking it. Some men reach this point earlier, some later. If this chapter met you at the right time, your thoughts are welcome below. And slowly, the days begin lining up behind you. Direction gives momentum. Care decides how long you can keep it. Learning to care without losing yourself, there is a moment many men recognize. You stop trying to squeeze more out of yourself and start asking what helps you last. Many men think care comes later, after success, after life settles down, after everything is fixed. It is like maintaining an engine before it overheats, not fixing it after it breaks down on the road. Men who last do not push harder. They learn when to stop pushing. When I think about my younger self, I remember how easily I burned myself out for the wrong rewards. Only now do I understand what it actually means to take care of myself. You feel this first in small moments. How you speak to yourself after a long day. Before, mistakes turned into harsh inner talk. Now they turn into adjustment instead of punishment. You treat yourself the way you would treat a longtime friend, the kind you would never run into the ground and then act surprised when he quits. A man who chooses to single for life eventually learns this lesson. Working harder stops helping when energy runs low. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself to act firmly, yet with consideration toward his own limits. He knew that breaking yourself is not the same as strengthening yourself. You hold standards without turning against yourself, eating properly, resting when needed, keeping your space in order. These are not indulgences. They are signals of self-respect. Your mood lifts faster after setbacks. Your focus returns without force. When care is present, discipline lasts longer, and effort feels easier to carry. You stop living in constant repair mode. You start building from a sustainable place. When you respect your limits, you stop letting others cross them. Standards you stop explaining. Have you ever noticed, why do the strongest decisions often feel the need to be explained the least? Too much explanation is an expensive habit. That looks polite, it quietly drains strength. I once skipped buying something a friend was selling and rehearsed the whole conversation in my head before saying no. A single man learns this faster than most. When boundaries slip, the cost shows up immediately. Clear standards become his first line of protection. They work best when they stay intact. At first, saying yes feels easier. Later, resentment shows up right on schedule. Mark once believed that saying no without a clear reason would lead to judgment and isolation. Years later, he realized being judged was a small price to pay for freedom from shallow connections. Standards end that cycle. They are like guardrails on a mountain road, unnoticed until the moment they save you. They save time before it is wasted. Less talking, more follow-through. And suddenly, life stops interrupting itself. Fewer exceptions, fewer regrets. You stop adjusting yourself to fit situations. Situations either fit or they pass. What stays earns its place. Choosing depth over crowds. Thomas believed he had many friends, yet when life grew heavy, most of them quietly faded away. Looking back, he realized he had built wide social circles, but never allowed any to grow deep. The loss did not disappear for him. It simply stopped demanding an explanation. Reliable relationships do not appear overnight. They are shaped through years of shared struggle, honest conversations, mutual support, and they remain present even when it is inconvenient. That is very different from shallow friendships. The polite smiles, casual check-ins, and surface-level bonds kept alive mainly for advantage. Wide connections look impressive on the surface, like a wide river that barely reaches your ankles. Depth is quieter, but it is what lets you stand steady when the current gets strong. With a real friend, you notice something simple. You feel it when words come easily and still mean something. When laughter arrives without performance. A man who stays single for life learns something subtle. Fewer connections carry more weight. Dinner with one trusted friend instead of 5 half conversations. Giving up a relaxed weekend to be there when a friend truly needs you. I never forget a friend once let me stay at his place for a while instead of renting. It was quiet support, but it mattered. You start noticing who respects your time without testing it, who listens without waiting to speak. Those bonds feel different. I have a few friends who live far away, people I only speak to once every few years, yet every conversation feels warm and familiar. Choosing depth is not about having less, It is about finally having enough. And when closeness becomes intentional, loneliness fades because there is always someone ready to welcome you when it matters. Giving meaning through what you offer. There comes a moment when a man realizes ease is not enough. What matters is whether his days actually matter to someone beyond himself. Living single sharpens this moment. You start asking what your effort leaves behind when expectations are no longer waiting for you. At first, Stephen saw giving as optional. That was what society had taught him. Later, something shifted. Helping someone else brought him more satisfaction than buying himself another expensive item. He laughed, realizing he once chased things that needed receipts, while this never did. How little it asked from him, yet how much it stayed. Helping a neighbor fix a shelf, teaching a younger colleague what took you years to learn, showing up early so others can rely on you. These acts look ordinary. They change the way you stand in the world. They anchor you like weight in a boat that keeps it steady when the water moves. Purpose often enters through usefulness. Giving shapes discipline into contribution. It turns routine into relevance. You stop measuring days by comfort alone. You start measuring them by impact. This does not require sacrifice that drains you. It requires attention directed outward. When effort carries meaning, fatigue softens, and you see motivation returns without tension. Giving meaning is not losing yourself. It is discovering where you fit. And in that place, life feels fuller. Choosing less to live more. Day by day, life can look busy and still feel empty. More things, more plans, more effort. Yet nothing truly feels lighter. Living single exposes this clearly. You start noticing how much time and energy goes into maintaining things that add no real value. It is like dragging extra luggage through an airport, not heavy enough to drop, but heavy enough to slow every step. Closets get fuller, but your hands still reach for the same few pieces. Subscriptions stack up, devices multiply, and still restlessness follows you home. At some point, you look around and realize you own things you barely remember buying, and somehow they still expect your time. It rarely does. It just creates more to manage. You see it with Leo. He filled his apartment with furniture, devices, and decorations, yet felt oddly empty in his own space. The shift came when he started removing instead of adding. Fewer purchases, fewer impulses meant fewer distractions pulling at his attention. That line stops sounding theory once you experience it. Choosing less is not shrinking your life. It is clearing space so the right things can finally grow. After enough is stripped away, one question remains. Was this life built to be admired or to be lived? Being enough without needing proof. There is a quiet realization that arrives late in life. You stop asking whether your path looks impressive to others. Living single sharpens this truth. When all else falls away, what remains has to be real. For years, men learned to judge themselves by income and position. That works for a while. Then it slowly exhausts you. The strange part is the hunger was never for progress, it was for confirmation. You feel it the day you succeed and still feel unhappy. The moment praise lands, yet nothing settles inside. Jim got promoted after years of pushing, yet that night he sat alone in his living room, staring at the wall, wondering why the room felt exactly the same. This is where maturity begins to speak. It grows through standing comfortably in your own choices, and that is when life becomes simpler in a quiet way. You stop auditioning for people who were never casting you. You start living like a man who has already been accepted by the only judge that matters. Some days you forget this, but you remember faster than you used to. Other people's opinions lose their power to shake you, and you no longer crave praise. It means growing without needing to convince anyone, including yourself. You keep a calm smile and leave the noise outside the door. If you have walked with me this far, you already know this truth. A man does not need to follow one script to live well. Some build families, some build a quieter life. What matters is not the shape of the path, but the honesty of how you walk it. You learn to carry your days, to choose what matters, to keep standards, to value depth, to give meaning, to live without needing proof. That is not loneliness, that is self-respect. If your life looks different now, let it. If fewer people understand you, let that be too. You are not here to perform your life. You are here to live it. That is the path we walk here on Move or Die Stoic. And when all else falls away, may what remains be something you can stand behind quietly, with a calm smile and nothing left to explain.